Welcome to Jonesing for Sports, where we make sports better.
What is good, y'all? It's your boy Jones, and welcome to another episode of E and J Full Court Shot. As always, I'm joking with my boy E. What's good, boy?
Good. Long time.
Been a long time, but we back. Obviously, for you, the viewers, we gotta let y'all know the reason why we haven't been on as much is because it's early in the season. Shit isn't juicy yet, and obviously we got all this COVID shit going on, which we're gonna talk about. So when we come to talk, it's for some good shit. So obviously we're here to talk about some good shit today. But first, obviously we gotta thank all of our Patreons and all of our followers for supporting us throughout the years and continue to support us. So shout out to all you guys. And we're going to start it off with the state of the NBA as it is with COVID. Now they've decided not to do a bubble again, and now we're seeing that is having its problems, like it did in all the other leagues that didn't have a bubble. 5 games I think have been canceled, 37, 40, something like that. Players have caught it. It's starting to get out of control. A lot of teams can't practice. Now they got these new COVID protocols that we'll get into it. Well, I'll talk about that, but I want to hear, what are your thoughts on this whole COVID madness with the NBA?
I mean, to me, we can quickly jump on and be like, oh, it's fucking up, but we got to give them some credit. Like if you remember, when Major League Baseball season started, it was every day a game was being canceled, stuff like this. I mean, at this point, it's hard to say. You can't say nobody's gonna catch it, because it's you don't know what these guys are doing outside of practice. They could just go to the store and come in contact with somebody they don't even know, who they might not know they have it, and they get exposed. And especially now with this second wave of it being almost like a whole new virus, and it's easier to to catch it. So
right,
gotta give them the credit for it taking at least a month for it to get to where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, there's no bubble. We couldn't expect them to put all 30 teams in a bubble again, to do that.
Right.
I feel like it'd be almost I think it might make matters worse because there's so many more people there. And then not only that, you're gonna fuck with a lot of guys' mentals. A lot of these guys who's in the playoffs, look at the Lakers and the Heat, the two teams that went all the way to the end. Both had the shortest off season. They were away from family for so long, so it's mentally draining.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to go off of what you said, definitely couldn't do a bubble again. I don't think a lot of players would have been able to sign up for that based off of what other players went through with mental health and things like that. So let me just go into what the NBA has said that they're going to do going forward. As far as, like you said, players being free to, leave their hotels and things like that, the NBA is dubbing all that. The players, once they're in their hotel, they have to stay in the hotel unless it's for team activities. Practices are limited. Team meetings are limited. They can't have guests anymore, I believe, unless it's a real close family member. So the NBA is really coming down on the rules, which they have to, because this is not only a risk to the NBA and what they're trying to do as far as keeping the season going, but it's a health risk to the players and to the public. So, like you said, shout out to the NBA for still doing what they're doing. They're fighting it as much and as best as they can each and every day, and it's not easy because each day we're learning something new about it. We're finding out there's another virus that's connected to it and all these things. So it's going to be a mess, but as long as they stay on top of it, I think they can finish the season and crown a champion. Let's hope they can. And hopefully there's no other serious players that get it and have some serious health issues with that. But now that that's done, let's get into the juicy shit. A lot of you guys know my beef with Kyrie Irving. And it's not only just my beef. It seems like it's everyone's beef with Kyrie and Kyrie's beef with us. He's been going off a lot lately, and now he's nowhere to be found because of personal issues. And before I go off, let me say this. If it's mental issues that you're dealing with, Kyrie, I definitely wish you the best. I hope you get, the best help that you can, and that everything works out for you and you can, be good in your mental capacity. But other than that, something's up with you, Kyrie. There's something up with you, Kyrie, because a lot of people are counting on you in that Brooklyn Nets uniform, and you're not there. You're not there, and I get it. You might have mental issues or whatever the case may be, but guess what? You're not the only one that has to deal with that shit. And you're not only taking off the pressure from you to perform on the court, you're putting the pressure on other players like Kevin Durant and those other bench players and your coach. For you not to tell him, now you're not showing up, but you're going to text your teammates? Come on, bro. You can't have that shit. You can't have that. And then the last thing before I throw it over to you is you had a huge issue with the bubble. People even entering the bubble. We shouldn't have a bubble because of COVID, right? So now there's this tape out of you at your family party, but without a mask. And it seems like there's a lot of you. So which one is it, Kyrie? Or do you care about COVID, or do you care about whatever matters to you? That's the problem that we are having with you, is because you say one thing and it doesn't make sense. You got to start having accountability for your actions and not expect the same when your teammates do something. If you're going to be able to blame the teammates, you got to be able to blame yourself. I'm not liking what I'm seeing with Kyrie, and it's going to affect how he is with his teammates, and I think it's going to affect the Brooklyn Nets in the long haul and why they probably won't get to the NBA Finals.
I mean, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here and be like, oh, leave party, you don't wear a mask, can't be mad because I know you and me go to attend places with people we know.
Right.
I don't have a when I'm with certain people. I'm masked up, when I'm supposed to be, when I'm at work, traveling, outside. Yes, I'm with all that. I'm not gonna get on his case because he was without a mask at a family party. It's not like the James Harden situation where it was like he's just out partying in strip clubs and shit like that. But like issue.
I hear you, but the only reason why I say is that I have an issue is because the NBA doesn't know who in your family they're around. You know what I mean? So it's like they have to back themselves up as well.
Well, of course, but I mean, the one thing he has to do is you have to, know your surroundings and know if you even if you are with family and you're out publicly, there's gonna be pictures taken of you. There's gonna be
Gotta be smarter than that.
Like that. So that I understand. With the accountability for that, you have to take. Like my beef isn't with that. But like you said, on the first point, if it has anything to do with his mental health, because let's keep it all the way 100 here. I'm not. I'm actually. I'm not gonna say was because I still like his game and stuff. A fan of Kyrie, but like we all know, he says some crazy out there things. So I wouldn't be shocked if he goes through these mental things.
Right.
Kyrie's a strange person. He's definitely like if you're not showing up because you have some mental shit you got to take care of, by all means, take care. Like Marshawn Lynch said, take care of your mentals.
Take care of your mental.
And like,
definitely.
But like you said, like you're a grown man. You're a professional. Let the right people know and go about it the right way. Don't just text your teammates like, "Yo, I'm not gonna be there." Talk to your coach, talk to your front office, your owner. Go through the right channels so that they could probably help you and be like, we're here for you. We want to make sure you're getting the right things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't fuck up the chemistry. Bad enough, like you got the one of the best offensive players ever on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know what y'all got. You guys are still capable of. You got great role players. Even with losing Spencer Dinwiddie for the season,
Yep.
the team's still stacked.
Yep.
We seen what they did without Kyrie and KD a couple times. The season still, they still went out there and smacked teams.
Right.
But it's your first year, first Steve Nash, first time coach, your first season playing with KD. You got to build that chemistry.
Right.
We all know how much chemistry means in the NBA, especially look at the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even for me to just talk shit about the Clippers like I normally do. You know how big chemistry really is. Like
Right.
that, yeah, you gotta like if it's all about your mentals and shit, I'm glad you taking care of it, but go through the right channels.
Right. Perfectly said. You just gotta chemistry, like you said, is the biggest thing. If you want to be able to contend for an NBA championship at the end of the year, chemistry's got to be at the top. It's got to be at the top, and you as their leader, you got to be front and center, and you got to be accountable and make sure that you're there for your teammates. If you got to handle your mental, then handle your mental, but do it in the right way. So that's all we got to say about that. But now let's get into the season itself. There's been 13 to 11 games, 10 games played from each team. Looking interesting so far. Obviously, it's early. It always looks interesting in the beginning, and then we start to see towards the mid-season after All-Star break, the real teams that are going to end up taking over, and the teams that just don't have enough, and the teams that just suck. That starts to play out. But right now, teams are starting to fill it out, and COVID is obviously fucking that up with a lot of teams being able not to play their games, not able to practice, not being able to have players. Some players have to stay in the hotel that they were, whatever city they were playing at, and have to stay there for 10 days before they leave. It's just a whole fucking mess. But like you said, the big word chemistry is definitely going to be huge for all these teams going forward. Let's start off in the East. What do you like so far in the East?
If I'm honest, I don't really care for any other team but mine. But I'll tell you what catches my eye is the success of this. I've never been shy away to. I said I didn't think that team is good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was built right. But I definitely got those boys playing well. It's still early because we all know, but that the struggles of the Raptors, which I kind of I felt like they would struggle. Siakam's not a max player. They try to build that team around him. He's a good role player.
Mm-hmm.
I guess losing Ibaka and the veteran leadership of Gasol hurts them even more.
Yep.
Your Knicks gave a nice little run there that we have to give them the credit.
Absolutely.
It's looking like
thank you for shouting them out.
It looks promising. I mean, but then again, I think I actually told you I wasn't mad at the moves they made this all season.
Right.
Because they got some talent. Don't get me wrong. Julius Randle, a guy that my team drafted into this league. I was always a fan of him. I'm a big Duke fan, so I keep an eye on RJ Barrett. Austin Rivers playing out of his mind for y'all, which is crazy because who would have thought?
Right.
Gotta give him credit. Brooklyn, who knows what they'd be if Kyrie comes back and once he gets on the thing, they're still scary. Miami, I don't know. Something's with Miami for me. I guess that the short all season's getting to them. And I know they didn't have Jimmy for a certain amount of games. That team, but that's a team that can go on a run.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, we already know.
Right.
Yeah, the East is what we thought. The one team I'm shocked on, that's not doing as well as the Hawks. Me and you were both big on the Hawks.
Yes, we were.
That team
yes.
was it, and I just feel like they haven't showed it yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the biggest surprise for me right now is the Hawks. I thought they would be doing a little bit better, but they're also dealing with a lot of injuries and COVID problems and shit like that, like the rest of these teams are. So I like what I see from Philly. Like you said, Doc Rivers he's got his hands full on trying to get that team to where everyone thought they could be. We're gonna have to see how Ben Simmons and Embiid gets really going. Now they look good, especially Embiid. Looks good, but again, it's early. There's a lot of work to be done when it comes to that group. Charlotte, another team that everyone has their eyes on, with another Ball brother in there, Devontae Adams, Gordon Hayward. It's actually looking like.
All I'm saying is those people who had the little doubts. I know it's early, but LaMelo might be it.
Right, that team definitely does look promising, especially Gordon Hayward doing what he's doing. I think he's top 5 in scoring, maybe even top 3 in scoring this year in the NBA. So he's definitely making it worth the while, the money that he got paid. Now, still think it's too much, but it's on him to step up. He's got a bunch of young guys. He's the vet. He's got to step up. So he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But can he keep it up for a whole year? And then you have your compliments like Leon Ball, and then you got Devontae Graham. So I like what I'm seeing from them. Still need a little bit more work, but that's definitely a team that if everyone else is still dealing with their problems, they could still be sitting at the bottom of that 8 seed, 9 seed, trying to find their way in. So that's definitely a team to be look out for. And obviously, Brooklyn's not in right now with 5 and 6, but I think that's a team that'll obviously get there. But I'm still iffy as far as them being the team to beat. I still want to see what they look like mid-season and when Kyrie gets back and they have a few more games under their belt. And then lastly, for the East, my New York Knicks. I gotta say I was pretty proud of what I've seen these last 6 games of them. They got smacked a few games, but for the most part, they looked good. They stayed in it, and they got a few surprising wins. So RJ Barrett has his on and off days, but he's still young in the league. So once he can become more consistent, he can be very promising. Opie. He's exactly what we thought he would be, a fucking human highlight, jumping out the gym. And, right. And, it looks nice. I like what Thibodeau's doing with them. Hopefully he can really teach those guys, and especially on the defensive end. That's going to be the most important part because you can't win without defense. But now let's get to the more important side. The West Side. You see his hat, LA, baby. Let's start it off with the number 1 team in the NBA. Your Los Angeles Lakers. The NBA champions, by the way, just to let you guys know that. Just have to throw that back in your faces. What you think about your LA Lakers right now?
I like the team. Don't get me wrong. We lost a couple games. Like, listen, the losses, they don't hurt when you got that guy that your boy. So we all know what he brings to the table. We all know what AD brings to the table. Montrezl Harrell is so here and there, but he's coming along. Schroeder's coming along. Obviously, we don't like what we got out of Gasol so far. Gasol's a guy that I wasn't a fan of the signing, but that's like a vet leader that you need. Somebody who's going to talk on the defensive end and make the right plays.
Right.
He's not going to contribute a lot in points, but he's going to make the right plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, overall, I'm happy with this. Like, AD missed a couple games. I want to give a thank you to Christian Wood for motivating and saying that he had the games against the Lakers circled, and we've seen what AD did to them both with that intensity.
Yep, and you're gonna see it again tonight.
And even though And for what I've seen, especially early on, LeBron's taking over in the fourth quarter. And when does he ever take over early in the season?
Right. Exactly.
So I don't know. I think Bron's playing with that chip on his shoulder that I should have been MVP last year, so I'm taking it this year. I'm not allowing you to bring anybody else up.
Yep.
I don't know. He looks like he's on a mission again.
Yep. So the Los Angeles Laker fan was being nice just now. I'm surprised that he was being so nice. I love what the fuck I see from the Lakers right now. They look like they don't look like.
Well, no, I'll keep this a step. We still look like the fucking favorite.
By far, in my opinion.
We're still the favorite.
No question. They look amazing, and when I look at now, obviously you look at AD and LeBron. I always pay attention to them, but I've been more focused in on the other guys, and the three that I've really been focused in on was the guys that you just said: Montrez, Schroeder, and who else did you just say? Gasol. Oh, not Gasol. Somebody else I was thinking of. But those two especially have been. It looks like those two could be fighting for Sixth Man of the Year on the same team this year.
Shooter actually a starter.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot. Well, if he, we'll see how that works out. So far, he's been a starter, but that could switch up depending on how that all works out. But those two are looking amazing. They're fitting in. Wesley Matthews is starting to get hot. AD is being AD when he's out there. And another promising thing, when AD's not out there, they still look good. And what was the problem with the Lakers last year? When Bron is off the court, when AD's off the court, they can't score. But that's not the problem this year. And, I remember who I was thinking of. THT. My fucking guy. He is ready to play.
All right,
he comes out every night on fire.
I'll add this because I do listen to a lot of Laker, stuff. And even last year, there was a lot of talk about, THT, and a lot of guys like Betts, Dudley, LeBron were saying this kid's special. He's killing he kills in practice. They got something. The guy's 6'5" with a over 7 foot wingspan.
Yep.
The kid's got talent, and the kid is only 19, 20 years old.
Whew. And then he's under LeBron and AD. I mean, the ceiling is super high for that kid.
Just needs a jump shot.
Yeah, once he gets that down, he's going to be a fucking serious threat because he has everything else. He has the intangibles. He can pass. He can rebound. He can make plays. I mean, he's special. He's fucking special. He's going to be my biggest lookout for this year as far as the next guy to step up outside of AD, LeBron, Schroeder, and Harold. He's that guy. We thought it would be Cruz. He had his moments. But I'm still not sold on. I'm still up on Cruz, but I'm still okay with him being moved. And we already know where you stand with Cruz, so we don't have to mention it. But so far, so good with the Lakers. And like you said, LeBron, he looks like, hey, y'all took one from me last year. Even though I got the championship, y'all took one from me. Mm-hmm. Y'all don't think I can fight for it again this year? And my 18th year, watch me do it. So I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. I'm fucking loving it. Let's go Lakers. Now let's talk about the team in the basement who will continue to be in the basement forever. The Los Angeles Clippers. Okay, yes, they look okay. They look nice. Paul George is having some moments. He's having a MVP season. These are the things that I've been hearing. But
Paul George had a good MVP season for the first couple games of the season. Kawhi got hurt, and then those boys got clipped by 50.
They lost 2 big games, I remember. They lost a 21-point lead.
Did we not forget that Luca and them boys beat them by like 50.
50.
Like, let's keep it a stack. Like, y'all get it. Y'all got yeah. We had it last year. You beat the Lakers opening night.
Right, that's their championship. Is beating the
Like, they're
Lakers
the
on
they're the
opening.
best opening night team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
But like, they still look like the Clippers of last season.
Yep, they still have the same issues that they had last year. Now, obviously, adding Ibaka was a big help for them, but they still have those same issues because in moments where they need their big players, they're not always there. That's going to be an issue, and if you can't solve that now, by the time the season gets, to the end, and you don't got it done, expect the same results you did last year. Maybe, but in the first round, because the West is going to be even stronger this year, I believe. So they got some issues, but that's not just hate. That's just what we're watching. They look good, but this is an early season thing. So we'll see. Now, another team that I was very high on, I don't remember if you were high on them. I think you were. Phoenix, 7-4. What are your thoughts on them?
I had them before the season. I had them fighting for like one of the last few playoff spots because I
Mm-hmm.
just wasn't sold. I figured, all right, you got key. So I'm thinking, all right, that's cool. But to me, it was like all you really did was add him, but lost what you lost. But they proved me wrong so far. That's still a
Mm-hmm.
team that all it takes is a Booker injury, Chris Paul injury to still be a bottom team.
Absolutely.
But that them young boys is playing with that veteran leader and Chris Paul out there. You can't hate on what they're doing.
Absolutely. Chris Paul is doing exactly what he brought from OKC, which is that leadership and getting these young boys ready. I think they still need help on the bench end. I think that's where they're weak at. But from what I'm seeing as far as coaching, they're leaving those vets out there with the young guys, so that way they stay in rhythm, and they're teaching the young guys how to play the game. So, and it's working out. So other than that, I think that, like you said, without injury, I think that's going to be a team that's going to be top 5, top 6 in the league this year, if they can stay healthy and they get those young guys on the bench to step up. But yeah, I'm definitely wishing them, the most success. Another team, let's talk about. Oh, well, before I go on, is there a team that you want to talk about?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Go ahead.
When are we gonna do it? When are you gonna break up the fucking Timberwolves?
Who knows?
All that young talent, and they're the same team every year. Every year. If you have to trade Cat. I don't care. Go
Right.
through how many coaches? It's not. It's the same shit. You brought in D'Angelo Russell, same shit.
Same shit. No, I hear you. This was supposed to be the year that they were going to make a
Or at
jump.
least just show a jump of improvement. They show that they're the same team. I don't care who you draft with the number one.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's like, I forgot what teams it were, but you don't want to be the team that is always drafting number one every year. I think it was the Sixers actually not too long ago. 76ers not too long ago when they were horrible. They were drafting number one every year, and they just kept doing it. And that's not a good look. You don't want to just draft number one draft picks every year for nothing and not make an improvement. What are you playing for? If I'm a player, I don't want to be on the court for that shit. That's why. So there's something's got to be done. Definitely there. Something's definitely got to be done. One of the other teams I wanted to talk about was Houston. They're 3-5. Obviously, they got the little inside issues with Harden, but we know it's early.
That team is a shit show.
It is.
Like every year, it's something with
It,
year.
every
When
year.
are they gonna realize that window is long gone?
Yeah.
Chance to get to the finals the year you should have beat Golden State. It's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another team. Blow it the fuck up.
If this doesn't work out, it's definitely time to blow it up. John Wall's out there balling. Boogie Cousins can't stay on the court because he's still doing what he used to do, which is get into arguments and fights and get himself ejected. And then James Harden decides when he wants to play and when he doesn't want to play. So
James Harden shows more effort to be around little baby than he does to be around his teammates.
exactly, and that's just fucking pathetic. As a
I don't know
NBA superstar.
I don't know who said it. I forget which, TV voice said it, but it's true. It seems like Harden wants to hang out with the rappers more than anything.
Mm-hmm. He does, and it's sad. It's like you're a fucking NBA superstar, and you're acting like this. You want to do Hollywood more than you want to actually play basketball, which you're getting paid millions of dollars to do. It's pathetic. But another team. Well, yeah, we'll get into this team for a second because tomorrow they're adding a big piece for them, which is Dallas. They will be adding the unicorn tomorrow, and everyone believes that is going to be the big piece that they were missing and help them get them back into the top five in the NBA. What are your thoughts on them adding him and what that means for them going forward?
I mean, obviously, it's a huge addition, but I don't know. Something with them is like everybody thought Luka was the MVP coming into the season. Luka's having a bad time shooting.
Yes, he is.
He's struggling shooting the ball. I mean, granted, maybe having Porzingis there will help him, but still, like, if Luka don't get shit going, they're in trouble.
Right. No, I agree. I think some of that MVP pressure, early season pressure, started to mount on him, and he started to thinking, "Oh shit, I'm gonna have to, do everything." And it's like, no, you don't. You have a little bit more help now. Even without KP being there, he had a little bit more help, a lot more scorers to help him out there. And one thing that I think we even said it last year, one thing that he's going to have to improve is shooting. He's going to have to improve his shooting because that's what this league is about now. Yes, we still have dynamic inside scorers, but if you can't shoot from the outside, trust me, you're not going to be able to score from the inside because they're just going to shut you down and make you push you outside like they do Giannis. So that's not what you want to be known as when coming into this league, especially being a star in this league. You want to be able to be unpredictable when you go out there on the court. So he's going to have to fix that. Hopefully, KP being out there helps that with space and everything like that, give him a little bit more time to shoot. But yeah, that's something a team to definitely look out and a player to look out for. Is there another team that you want to talk about?
Not a team. Well, it'll be a part of the team, but the one main reason for this team looks like that boy might be back.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Curry might be back.
Starting to find his rhythm.
He's hit. I mean, obviously, we all know how we feel about Dame. Dame opened his mouth, and that boy went out there and put 60 on him.
He did.
I mean, granted, the team is still not very good around him. It's just Steph and a whole bunch of guys out there, but he's getting it going the way he's been going.
Mm-hmm.
He can carry the Warriors into a playoff spot.
Yeah, he can. If he's just going to have to be consistent. He's going to have good games a lot more than he's used to, and he doesn't have the help that he needs to do that. But he can still do it. If he's just, like I said, he's just going to have to be consistent. Those younger guys are going to have to step up and play big and get them critical wins when it's needed, especially conference ones. That's going to be important. They're going to have to beat the bad teams because that will help them sneak into the bottom feed and things like that. But like you said, that boy is back, and he's going to have to be back for the entire season in order for them to make the playoffs. Because without him, it's over. We know what the Warriors were without them last year. It's going to be the same shit. Even though they had the number 2 pick, it's not going to make a difference. So that's definitely going to be a big lookout. And a player that I want to talk about who's lighting it up, who a lot of people would have loved to see him go elsewhere to light it up because he's just on a bad team. Bradley Beal, he's lighting it up. He's leading the league in scoring, 34. I think he had his season career high a couple days ago with like, I forgot what it was, but 50 plus or some shit like that. But just it was 60, right?
Yeah.
60, 61, something like that. He's lighting it up, but we know the Russ effect. We all know the Russ effect. It's not going to get you no dubs. And
yeah, it sucks that he's putting up 60 in a loss.
Like,
whenever you hear a guy, especially the top guy in the team, puts up 60, you're like, oh, they won that game.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Like, he needs badly to be out of there, but who knows?
I feel for him. I mean, Washington fans, if you guys are really serious about your team, I know it's nice to have Russell Westbrook, but is it really worth it at the end of the day just to watch him get triple doubles?
And I mean, it doesn't help. It doesn't help because then when you see the way John Wall's playing in Houston, you would have just kept them together.
Right, exactly. It would probably end up in a little bit more dubs, in my opinion, but it is what it is. Other than that, is there any other team or player or news that you want to talk about?
No, not really. It's still early for me.
Yeah, it's like we said, it's early season, only a few games in, so there's not.
Being that we're already in January, we're expecting like there should be a lot of basketball to talk about.
Right, but obviously we're on different terms this year. Right, the season literally started like 3 weeks ago, so we're still very early, even though it's
just like New Year's the other day. Like,
yeah, exactly. So we still got a while to go, but it will get done, and you will have your boy E and Jones here to talk about it. It's your boy Jones, E and J Full Court Shop. We back. Peace.